Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Redemption with Ricky Johnson. So I'm super excited. We are launching on Friday with my good friend Ricky here. And he has hopped on a brief call with me really quick to just kind of tell us what he's got going on and what his mission is and what he wants to accomplish. So Ricky, really quick, just kind of tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me, and thanks for being a huge supporter of what I'm doing. My name is Ricky Johnson. I'm 42. I reside in Jacksonville, North Carolina. If you're a Marine, you know where Camp Lejeune is at. My wife, she also works on Camp Lejeune. I'm a 5-year Marine veteran. I have a pretty intense backstory. Made a lot of bad decisions. Before we get into that, man, my whole mission and the goal of what I'm doing is I'm just trying to give back the same gift that was given to me, and that's the gift of hope. I'm a very transparent person. My intention is not to judge anyone, to insult people, or to shame them. I'm just sharing with people, my experiences, and maybe that they can relate to it, and they can see through me that there's a way out. Through perseverance, and maybe they can learn something from me and take something from it. Like I said, besides being a 5-year Marine veteran, I'm also a 3-time convicted felon for methamphetamines and DWIs. I done some time in prison. I was homeless. For the past 25 years that I could legally drive, I've not had a driver's license for 17 of those years. My last DWI, I lost my license for 10 years, and I get them back in 2022. I lost both my parents to substance use, to alcoholism. They were 49 and 52. And another huge, crucial piece to my story is I lost my son to suicide 6 years ago. Losing him is probably what influenced me and encouraged me to share my story, and hopefully I can touch a few lives out there. And Ryan, my mentality is not I'm saving lives. Okay, I don't look at it like that. A lot of people say that that's what I'm doing, but I'm just if somebody can see through me that Ricky's made some bad decisions and he learned from it, and I I want my trauma to be somebody else's treasure where they can learn through me and to possibly avoid making a bad decision. So at the root of the core of who I am, that's what I'm about.
Awesome, man. Thanks for that. That's a really powerful background. And I can definitely see how you have a lot of motivation behind you coming from different directions. So basically what you do now is people reach out to you. It sounds like there's a lot of planning and coordination that goes into this. And I
Sure.
know in the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, as well as in Missouri, where you're from. So basically you have speaking dates that are scheduled, and then you go there and you get an opportunity to speak to crowds. So tell us a little bit about how you got into that and what that looks like, and maybe
Sure.
if there's a place people can kind of follow you to learn where you're going to be speaking at.
So Ryan, for me, with my story, there's a bunch of different elements that a lot of people can relate to. I mean, there's incarceration, substance use, suicide with my son. I'm a veteran as well, so there's a lot of things about me that's very relatable to a lot of different people. And I'm an approachable guy. I mean, any kind of wisdom that I have or knowledge, I give it away. I share it, and that's just what I feel called to do. I feel like I'm obligated to my fellow man to do that. So for me, when I got into public speaking, it's been about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I was terrible at it. I just felt called to do it. A lot of time, God, the way I see it, it's the thorn in our side. What we think might be a weakness is what God uses for us to persevere, overcome, and that's what inspires other people. And for me, I'm still not the greatest public speaker. I still stutter. I still forget what I'm going to say, but I'm transparent and I show up. So for me, I started public speaking through social media, and I just kept feeling called to do it, and being very transparent, taking responsibility for everything that I'd done, not blaming people or making excuses. And by me doing that, that made other people feel safe enough. They're like, Ricky's taking responsibility in front of the entire world. I can take responsibility for bad choices as well. And Ryan, we've all made bad decisions. Okay. I still make them, but the way that we recover is what creates who we're to become. So for me, when I started doing that outreach on social media, I just started getting invites to speak. It started out speaking at very small groups. It was God prepared me to be where I'm at today. if somebody would have put me in front of 300 Marines 5 years ago, it wouldn't have happened. My testimony and story has just grown organically, and I've just progressed as a speaker, and I just keep showing up. So I get invitations to speak at high schools, jails, churches, recovery groups. I probably spoke on Camp Lejeune 80 times to probably 80 different groups of Marines. Literally anywhere that I'm invited to speak at, I'll show up. I'll speak to 10 people or 10,000. So when I travel back to Missouri in January, I'm originally from Missouri, and my hometown in Southeast Missouri has been tremendous as far as supporting me in my career. And I've been back. This is, I think, the third or fourth time that I've traveled back there to speak at different places. And this next time I'm speaking 16 times in a week. I'm speaking 7 times at one school in one day, just because of the way their schedule is. So I'll be speaking at schools, churches, like I said, wherever I'm invited to speak at, I show up. So that's kind of how this started for me. Prior to public, I do this full time now. I travel doing this, and this is my passion. It's what I'm called to do, and I'm happy doing this. Prior to doing this, I worked for a nonprofit organization. I did community outreach for probably 3 or 4 years. I was the tip of the spear in outreach. I was the guy that was going into the woods behind a dumpster. Wherever there might be an individual or a veteran in a struggle at, I would go to them, try to provide them with some services and some assistance. And that's what I did. To be transparent, I kind of lost the drive to do it, and I lost the fire to do it. And my vision was not in alignment with what I was asked to do. And God was calling me in a different direction. And man, I went on faith. Some things transpired that forced me to kind of make a decision, and I removed myself from where I was at. And I've met you and a lot of other veterans that have been very supportive of my career. And this is what I'm doing full time now. So that's kind of how it started for me. I'm very big on social media. I do a lot. I have my Facebook page is Ricky Johnson Jr. I also have a public page as well. Both my pages are public, but I'm easy to find on social media.
That's awesome, man. It sounds like, especially with people reaching out to you, such as high schools and jails, they kind of have a certain focus maybe, and that you're speaking. Obviously, if you're in front of an audience, it kind of has to be geared towards that audience, whether older, younger crowd, or, if we're talking to, a school or a jail or something like that. So I'm super excited about this because your show, Redemption with Ricky Johnson, now you get to gear that in any fashion that you see fit. So if there is a certain theme going on or a certain topic that you want to cover, you'll be able to put that information out to provide that hope and that insight. But I'm definitely curious, with basically having an open platform where you can basically say or do whatever you want. What is 1 or 2 of your goals with the show, and what do you hope to accomplish with it?
I mean, Ryan, obviously I want to grow professionally, but I also want to be able to impact as many people's lives as I can, because at the end of the day, that's why I do this. With the show, I'm looking forward to it because I can speak about most anything that I want. And Ryan, I'm a transparent guy, but I still keep it in bounds. I don't speak very foul. And I'm transparent for a reason. I want people to see through me that, they're not alone. So a lot of what I talk about is everyday things, but I'm transparent. I speak on my own experiences. I don't really speak on things that are negotiable. I speak on what I've actually done, what I experienced. It could be perseverance. It could be, sexual assault, something that I experienced as a kid, substance use, incarceration, basically anything that I've gone through. I put it out there, and I'm very real about it. But like I said, I do it in a way that I keep it in bounds without being too foul with what I'm saying. My goal is, I want to grow professionally. I want to grow as a person. I want to help other people grow as well. I want to be able to impact as many lives as I can. And, having my own podcast and being able to use my own ideas, that's something that excites me, and I'm looking forward to being able to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think at this point it's pretty important for me to bring up that Redemption with Ricky Johnson is definitely a show that's going to be broadcast on Veteran Talk Show's channel. However, that is not our long-term goal. So basically, it's easier for everyone involved, especially with time and other resource constraints in place, to use the platform we have established. However, once Redemption takes off and we have that audience and those resources to be able to separate it, it is our intent for Ricky to have his own separate channel, so we can only do that with you guys. So Ricky is going to be tagged in everything we do. He also has direct access and open line of communication, so be sure to let us know if there's anything that you want more information about, have questions, or want to reach out to Ricky directly, then definitely do so. I would love to see an engagement where the people who consume his content and episodes reach out and say, I would love to hear you talk more about that topic or go more in depth over here, because that will give us a more centered focus on what we want to do with the show and where Ricky can really take it and see it take off. So I'm super excited about this because, once again, with more listeners, more downloads, we're just going to go ahead and cut Redemption with Ricky Johnson off on its own and see whatever happens from there.
Yeah, Ryan, something else I want to touch on as well. I want to tell everyone, I would not be here without you guys. Without you, there's no Ricky. There's no Ricky Public Speaking. There's no Ricky with the podcast. As I mentioned, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm not trying to be right. I'm just sharing with you the things that have worked for me. So, and guys, I appreciate all your likes, your views, your shares, your comments, and your feedback. That means the world to me. I would not have a career without any of you. So I greatly appreciate it. And guys, on my podcast, I'm not a confrontational individual. I don't debate politics and religion and things like that. I want to grow as a man, as a person. And, I want us all to grow together. I try to keep things very positive and uplifting. I try to keep it in a way that we can, something we can all relate to. So I'm trying to be a voice for the people that don't have a voice. And if you can see something through me that maybe pick up a gem here and there that has benefited me, that benefits you, that's a win to me. So.
That's awesome. So yeah, starting Friday, now we will have our daily hope and motivation coming directly from you, Ricky. I really appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, Ryan. I appreciate you too, brother, very much, and thank you.